Hey listeners, you're listening to the Midnight Readers podcast. Grab some tea, a midnight snack, and cuddle up in bed as we dive deep into today's most popular fantasies, sci-fi, and mysteries. We're your hosts. I'm Lily.
I'm Brittany.
And I'm Christy.
This season we'll be discussing a dark academia bully romance series known for its smutty content and often billed as a Harry Potter for adults. That's right, grab your Stardust, we're headed to Solaria.
Welcome to Zodiac Academy. Note to students, vampire bites, loss of limbs, or getting lost in the Wailing Woods will not count as a valid excuse for being late to class or this podcast.
In today's episode, we're discussing Book 6, Fated Throne, chapters 42 through 61, where we get a wedding, a surprise trial by combat, and the first battle in the war against the Dragon King.
Before we get into it, this is your warning for major spoilers ahead. This includes potentially all Zodiac Academy world books, including the Ruthless Boys and Darkmoor Penitentiary series. We might accidentally let spoilers slip for other popular romantasy book series as well. Sorry in advance, like the books, this podcast is rated R. It's gonna get spicy. Also language, so be warned.
Also a friendly reminder to please like, subscribe, and follow. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
Well, last we left off, Darcy and Orion had just escaped Clara's clutches. Tori, Darius, and Gabriel managed to procure a prophecy from the chair and escape/go back to the party. And everything is looking good for a moment. But Caleb and Seth decide to go on a hunting foray throughout the palace that ends with Seth shirtless in the kitchen. And things get a little hotter and heavier than usual with Caleb.
Can I just say, I was so happy to start out this way. What a good start to this section. I was just having the time of my life before it all went downhill.
Yeah. Xavier coming in to ruin it all.
I know. Why is he always there?
Right? Please tell me
I was
why
like,
Caleb
oh my God, get out.
Did not dick punch him and then push him out and close the door.
And of course, after that, Caleb has to be like, oh, we weren't doing anything.
Oh,
He was almost there. Almost there. And then he backed off.
And it clearly hurt Seth's feelings a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
It was sad.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So, to be fair, Seth needs to put on his big boy pants and tell Caleb how he feels.
I mean, yes, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Caleb needs to do the same thing because he is clearly having thoughts about Seth.
100%. At this point, he's just in denial.
He is. He is so in denial.
I don't know, though. It seemed like he knew that he hurt Seth.
He knows. That's the thing, is he can see that he's hurting Seth's feelings, but he's in denial about how he feels about Seth.
Yeah, very much so.
He was so close to not being in denial when Xavier opened the fucking door.
So close. Fucking carrot sandwich.
I can't. And I was like, really? This was this important that you... And he kept going, too. I was like, Xavier, clearly now is the time for you to grab your fucking sandwich and leave.
Yeah.
My lord.
But, of course, then Caleb hears this scream for help that nobody else can hear. And They go off exploring and they find some of the captured Fae from the Inquisition centers that Lionel's been.
So I had a question about that. Okay, so Caleb could hear it, which means other vampires could too. Why would you have that going on while you've got a party upstairs where people could potentially hear that?
Depends. I don't know if they were supposed to be in that kitchen. Everybody else is further away.
But why would you take the chance?
Ego.
I mean, where else is he going to do it?
Well, just hold it for a few hours, I
don't know. Maybe he thought, I don't know. Yeah, ego. Maybe he thought that, he had a good silencing bubble. I don't know.
No. Just random thought. I was curious as I was reading.
I mean, yeah. It's So they do go down there, and we finally get some answers about what Lionel was hoping to accomplish with Gravebone. And it has to also do with Vard and his performing horrible surgeries and mutilation.
It's horrible. I mean, I knew that he was basically a Nazi, but goddamn.
Yeah.
Now he really
My
is.
thing is, so he manages to convince somebody that they're a siren or a Medusa or whatever, and he takes an order from somebody else. He's killing somebody who's already a higher order. You have to have an order to make an order.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's doing...
It's actually illogical.
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't shock me because I feel like people who are in power don't actually care about making sense. I mean, look at the people who are running for president.
Yeah. Agreed. That's I keep telling
That's all I'm saying.
I keep telling people that we should just fire all the politicians, all of them.
They're eating the dogs.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't make any sense because people in power, they don't need to. They just want to exert power.
Yeah. And when they do get down there, we get to actually talk to Eugene Dipper, who we saw for like 2 seconds before in this series. He's like, I know who you are, Caleb Altair. I went to school with Elise, who is his cousin, Gabriel's wife. And he plays a major part in that series.
And man, he is getting treated terribly.
Thankfully, they do come up with a plan. They kill Gravebone and get everybody out. And the only reason they're able to do that is because Gabriel.
I was like, huh, Gabriel?
Yeah.
Hello? I was like so confused when this happened. Don't get me wrong, I was already a little bit confused about the whole scene because it was just kind of out of nowhere. But then I was like, Gabriel? What?
Yeah.
Where did you come from? And I was like, this is so random. This is what I meant by him being like the fix-all.
It kind of ruined it a little bit.
A little bit. I mean, I still think it's interesting. And in my mind, this chapter is like Caleb and Seth being like Indiana Jones and like saving like the trapped people in the, what is it, the Mountain of Doom or whatever?
Yeah.
That's what it felt like in my mind.
I wanted to see that. I wanted it to be like, oh,
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to make it or not. And then they make it. And you're like, yay.
Yeah,
But
I
once
agree.
Gabriel came in, it was like, okay, they're going to we're gonna make it.
Yeah, because he came in and was like, okay, here's the solution. And you're like,
Yeah.
you could have written it out or something. Like, damn.
Kind of like what he did to Orion in the prison.
Mm-hmm.
Tie your shoes.
Or even if he had shown up just to say, hey, I'm here to help, but not, hey, I'm here to fix it and make it
Yes.
perfect. You're all good.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Well, meanwhile, while this is all going down, Darcy and Orion are laying low at Gabriel's house. They have Diego's hat, and Darcy uses it to see what Diego wanted them to know, which was Lavina. What did y'all think about this whole backstory?
This is one of my favorite chapters of the section, I think, because, well, for a lot of reasons. One, because we learn about Lavinia, and we learn about some of the twins' ancestors. And then two, because like Orion and Darcy have like kind of a little bit of a makeup moment before the actual makeup moment. Like they actually are kind of forced to talk a little bit. And I was enjoying that because Orion is one of my favorites ever. So.
And I did want to go back and give Xavier a little bit of, some extra points for the last chapter because he was so protective of the prisoners. So, because I know I said I was disappointed, in the last few. So I felt like he was pretty awesome in that. But I did want to just clarify. So, in her vision, the dragons, they tried to kill the queen because they were working with Lavinia. And when the queen defeats them, the dragons kill the rest of the nymphs, land beneath the queen, and it's all good.
I mean,
Yeah.
Lavinia is fucking crazy, if we have learned
But I
anything.
meant for the queen side, that she wouldn't be like,
I know.
dragons are out as well.
Yeah.
Really? I don't know. And I would like to also point out that
crazy.
even though they did not deserve it this time, once again, having sex leads to Ryan and Darcy's downfall.
As always, right? Like,
We do learn some things in this, I guess, memory, hat memory, where like the nymphs used to live on in the Fey world. We learn in book 1 or 2 or something like that the nymphs are from the shadow world. But in this, they started out in Solaria world,
right.
in the Fey world, and were outcast to the shadow world by the Imperial Star, by this Vega queen.
Right. And honestly, there were a lot of little things in this vision that I was questioning. Like, one, the ancestor, the Acrux ancestor, I thought it was weird that he didn't look like, well, it's a long time ago, but he doesn't look like Darius and Lionel to my knowledge. I thought that was weird because he was blonde and like different eyes and stuff.
I think Lionel is blonde, but I'm not sure.
I thought he looked like Darius. And then the other thing is, there was something about that gilded mirror. It made me think of the mirror that the Vega's mother spoke to them through. The mirror that we compared to the mirror of A.S.S. And I was like, why does this feel like it's going to indicate that the twins are related to the nymphs somehow? Or that there's like a connection there? You know what I mean? Because is that gilded mirror the same mirror that we see later? Just makes me wonder.
Though, why the nymphs? Since the dragons had the mirror.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess you could say it was the dragons, but I think because it's presented to Lavinia, I just thought it was, and I think it's more interesting for the nymphs to be related to the twins, maybe is where I was going with that.
And we do see here Lavinia has an obsession with being queen.
Mm-hmm.
We later find out that, Lavinia is the true Shadow Princess and is actually living inside Clara. And Clara this whole time has had this obsession with being queen.
Yeah, I mean, that makes way more sense. I was like, that explains so much. Because we were like so confused. We were like, why the fuck would Clara? Like, just none of it made sense. And it didn't make sense to Orion either.
Christy, you had some thoughts on this betrayal by Octavius, or whatever his name is, for Lavinia, how that's going to work out.
Yeah, I feel like at some point, and I think pretty soon, because she's now free, skipping ahead a little bit, that we're definitely going to see some sort of retribution there, because I cannot imagine Lavinia would be the type that would forgive or forget. That she is going to want to exact revenge against the family that completely screwed her.
I mean, she did kill her own dad for, what was it? Just
not believing in her?
Not paying attention? Not believing in her enough?
Yeah, pretty brutal. Honest to God, if you think about it, that's pretty fey of her.
It is. Though she uses the shadows then too.
Yeah.
But the Vega Queen actually used the Imperial Star to take all the shadows away from the nymphs.
Mm-hmm.
And she is, in fact, the reason why they have to go after Faye to survive.
Because she kind of cursed them.
Yeah, Lavinia was like, we can't live without the shadows. And she was like, we'll find a different way.
So they have to take from people who have power.
Not a very good queen move,
Yeah, no. And then she outlaws dark magic, even though she was using it on her side to win.
So I feel like that she herself was not a very good queen, like a very good person as well.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It's complicated.
Yeah. And I do have a small rant. And I know that, like, Lily, you had said in the notes that you found it sweet. And I found it sweet the first time I read it. But then I read Ruthless Boys, and I was just like, but every order has its own, like, little personality quirk. Where, like, the dragons are obsessed with treasure, even if it's not gold. They hoard things. Then the vampires are obsessed with the hunt. They love the hunt. They're drawn by it. The werewolves act like dogs. The Nemean lions act like cats. The Pegasus act kind of like horses sometimes. Harpies nest. They are very big on nesting.
So Gabriel nests? That sounds really cute, actually.
This house that they're in was his wedding gift to his wife. He built it in secret. It was his way of nesting for his family.
Shut up. That's so cute.
And Orion was like, we'll just build it again.
Bro.
Like,
he was like,
kidding me?
it's fine, burn it down.
I mean, it was a really sweet thing to say to Darcy, but it is really not fair to Gabriel.
Like, in the full context of everything, it's pretty fucked up. But he probably wasn't thinking about it. He was just like, yeah, whatever, burn it down. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh.
That hit me hard this time.
We can talk about this later, but I have a theory about Lavinia. So when we get to the point at the end, remind me. It's a dumb theory, but remind me.
All right. So, of course, they make up and they're basically in the middle of almost having sex, and Clara, Vard, and Lionel show up. And
of course.
Poor Gabriel's house. They have this fight and they end up getting captured.
Right.
And as Christy pointed out, the sex led to their downfall. They really shouldn't have, been so complacent, honestly.
They need, an army around them while they're having sex.
I mean,
Both the twins do, apparently.
They had to think, Vard is a seer. He can see them. He's got that, creepy red eye.
Yeah.
I would have been more unpredictable and tried to move around more instead of just let's take a shower and eat and have sex.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they haven't already gotten
here.
So, and I don't know if you'll know the answer to this or not, but for that kind of ability, when Vard sees it, is it that when he sees it, he inherently knows where they are? Or if maybe they hid somewhere that he had never seen before, would that make it where he couldn't, he wouldn't be able to pinpoint them because it was some random cave or something?
That could be possible, I think.
If it was somewhere random, he'd have to know how to pinpoint it.
Okay.
It wouldn't tell him exactly where he is. Whereas he probably saw Darcy and Orion go, this is Gabriel's house.
Please come visit. I did like Darcy in this a lot better. And I think I finally figured out why I did not like her before. I mean, some of it was just her, but I think some of it is...
She could be whiny.
Tori is... Well, she can, but I think it's because Darcy is more human. I think they make Tori so... she's always loyal. She's always strong. I mean, not to say she doesn't have her flaws. She's not perfect, but she doesn't act like most humans do. And I think that...
I agree. Tori has a... Sorry, finish your thought.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I was going to say, I agree. I feel like Tori has a confidence that is rare in people.
Exactly. And I think maybe... maybe I kind of saw myself a little too much in Darcy, the parts that I didn't like. And so I did not like her in response because I started noticing it in this and in some of the ways that she was really redeeming herself. And they kind of hit me that they have made her more human than they do with Tori. So, yeah. So a little bit more grace maybe towards Darcy.
I like that. I like that. I feel that you kind of had like an emotional reaction to the character because you felt a little confronted, maybe. I think that's a good reaction to a book. Like, when I was in high school, I had a lit teacher who assigned us a book that I hated, and I read it and I gave him my review when we came back into class and was like, I hated this book so much. I like threw it across the room, and he was like, I'm actually really glad you had like a really strong reaction to the book because that means that the book did a good job. And I was like more angry at that. And I feel like you had like a similar reaction. You know what I mean? And I feel like it's like a good thing, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I like that. Nice.
It's always good when the characters make you feel, whether it's hate or anger or...
It's like how much we hate Umbridge. It's like she's the worst villain.
I was just thinking about that. Like, of the like characters that I have visceral memories of, Umbridge is there. I remember sitting in class in the back of my high school classroom, reading it, just being like,
yeah, because she's like, Umbridge is like a character so many students can like understand because she's a teacher you hate.
Yeah.
little traitorous bitch. That's what she is.
Except she was worse. Yeah.
She played both sides.
Yep.
All right. So anyway, Lionel returns to the party, kicks everybody out, and then takes Tori to his room. And we find out that he knows that she's basically faking it. But do we think he knew before when she slipped up, or was it capturing Darcy and Orion clued him in, or is it just a guess? And
I was wondering that too.
I mean, she does kind of slip up a couple of times more here.
She slips up in the last 10 chapters. She slipped up a bunch, like when she was dancing with Darius, and I mean, there's a lot of places that he could have caught her.
Though, when he told her, "Do you want to be my favorite and take off your clothes?" and Vard was still in the room, I was just like, this better not happen. This better not happen.
That's where I thought it was going.
Yeah, my face immediately, it was just like disgust. Like, ugh.
Is it possible he's known all along because Vard told him and just let her like continue on thinking that it was hidden?
It is possible, although you would think with his temper being what it was that he doesn't really play the long game sometimes.
I can't see Lionel being okay with it if he knew. Like playing that, going along with that ruse for very long,
Yeah.
But he does take her to be tortured again, and we get some lovely Vard scenes.
Disgusting.
But she does say
Absolutely
that Max
disgusting.
is teaching her how to block him out even without her powers.
Yes. Which is great. Thank God. Which I noticed later that from Max's perspective, he kind of zeroes in on Vard.
Yeah.
He's got big beef with that guy.
He does.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. I like that.
Yes.
I like that one. And even my comment for this one, that unless they broke this bond, that there was just no way that we were going to be able to read the rest of the book. It would be too painful. But,
yeah.
It is resolved. So
we were kind of wondering, like, you're reading the book and you're like, is she forever going to be tied to this man? Who's going to die, like, for this to be broken? I didn't think it was going to be Darius. I thought it was going to be Tori or Lionel, but I for sure thought somebody had to die for it to be fixed. And, well, somebody did die. Well, we'll die.
We'll die.
And this way, Darius not only frees Tori from the Guardian bond, but they're both free, and we should really talk about this later, but they're both free from the Star-Crossed bond, and Darius is free from the guardian bond himself.
Which is wild.
And so is Orion.
It's crazy.
I wonder how that's going to affect their relationship.
I feel like they're going to miss it.
Mm-hmm. They're going to hug anyways. They're just going to pretend that it's there.
They're going to be like, it's
pretend
fine.
that did not happen.
We're cuddling and it's not because of the bond and it's okay.
Would they get rebonded?
They hated it.
Imagine?
They spent all this time trying to break it.
Did they?
Did they really though?
They couldn't be apart from each other. I mean, eventually, if they get married, they got to go on a honeymoon. Could you imagine if they had to go together?
I mean, their significant others were twins. I think they could figure something out.
Yeah.
Just one big polyamorous polycule.
All right, so on that note, the next day
wild.
is Christmas, and Lionel uses Tori to force Darius into a marriage that day, on the spot. He says that...
I was surprised how fast this happened.
Yeah, he was like, well, if you don't marry her, I'll torture her every night. And every night that Mildred doesn't have an heir, she's getting tortured. And if you produce an heir with her, then I might let you produce an heir with Tori so that we can guardian bond the siblings. This man is obsessed with babies. Why doesn't he just make them himself? Why does he gotta sexually assault other people?
I mean, that's actually
Maybe
a good
shoot
question.
Blanks. Maybe something happened, after Darius was born and, zapped him a little bit.
Xavier was born after Darius.
Or is it, after Xavier.
Maybe the problem is that they'd be born as Pegasuses.
That's it. Yep.
Oh, Lionel admitting that he had a paternity test done and was thinking about drowning Xavier.
Oh, God. It's awful.
Mm-hmm.
God, I just love Xavier. I fucking hate that man.
So I don't understand why he, just like with Dante, what he does, I don't understand why Darius wouldn't just take whatever he hurts, whatever species or whatever order he hates the most, and put that kind of sperm up in Millie. And
I mean, I'm sure Darius would have found a way. He would have found a loophole, but we were saved from that possibility.
I mean,
oh my God, I was like, this just got interesting.
Okay, can I say, for the like 3 seconds that I was listening to that part of the book, I was like, wait a second, this is kind of transphobic a little bit. And then I realized, and I was like, oh, I get it. Like, it's supposed to be like a joke about, oh, okay, all right. But in the moment, I was like, oh, Mildred is a man? Oh, that makes sense. But then I was like, it's kind of a shitty joke for trans people. I got really upset in like half a second, and then I was like, oh, never mind, I'm being ridiculous. But I don't know, for half a second I was like, what if she is a man? It's okay if she's a man. Mildred, go Mildred.
And then you would like her.
For like half a second I was like, I'm gonna stick up for Mildred here. But then like for a second I was like, oh, okay, just kidding, it's Gabriel. What a fucking idiot.
And to kiss him with tongue. Come on now.
I mean, he deserved that. Come on.
He did.
Gabriel is my favorite type of brother character. He's like, remember all those times you tortured my sisters? Payback's a bitch.
He was like, this is actually pretty lenient of me.
Yeah. It's like Tori in her, I forgot to dick punch Orion today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
stuff.
that part.
But yeah, when he like marches them up to get married like super fast, and then in the moment Darius
Tori.
is like, oh yeah. Do we even get to see the moment where she drinks the antidote? Because I don't remember that.
Yeah, as soon as the vows are said and Mildred kisses Darius and begins to drag him off, Darius sees him hand the antidote over.
Okay, I must have missed that because I was thinking of Mildred dragging Darius down the hallway. Poor guy.
Grabbing his balls.
He was total, and the fact that Darius was like, "What if I just make like a phantom dick. like a fake dick, a dildo, and then I just fuck her with that, and then she'll never know, and then I can move on from my life."
He's like, it doesn't
Like
help
this
with
poor
the
guy.
ears, but I won't have
like,
to
"For
sully
now."
myself.
Well, freezing her hands to the bed. I mean, seriously, what if he had not found out about Gabby before?
Gabby. The irony that his nickname is Gabby.
Where's the hole?
He was like feeling around, and he was like, "Wait a second, this isn't right."
I think it's funny that I didn't notice it before, but Mildred always calls him Snookums. And in this, she called him Big Boy or something like that, which is what Gabriel calls him.
I did not catch that.
I didn't catch that. Oh my god, that's so funny. That is so funny. I mean, I noticed when the magic didn't snap into place. I was like, "Oh, that's weird. What happened?" But I didn't expect it to be Gabriel. That's like the last thing I thought was going to happen.
Gabriel was...
I thought you needed permission to take over the look of somebody else.
He did. He tied her up and forced her to relinquish her protections.
For some reason, I was thinking you couldn't force it. Like, it would have to be somebody, like, of their own sound mind.
If she hadn't have released her protections, she could have held on to them. That's implicit permission.
Yeah. Okay, well, no, they convinced her that somebody was going to try to look like her, didn't they? Wasn't that?
They drugged her or
tricked
something. Tricked her.
I thought they tricked her at that point, yeah.
Made her relinquish, but yeah. And they gave her a memory potion after she's hogtied in the closet.
I can't wait for what this is going to be.
Oh, man.
You can't wait for what?
I can't wait to find out what she tells them happened and what she thinks happens. They should leave her hogtied naked, like halfway out the door. Mm-hmm. And yeah.
Oh my god.
Because Lionel's going to check her anyways, right?
I mean, he'll probably go check on his son eventually, seeing as all his...
Well, no. He said he was going to check to make sure she wasn't a virgin, which I don't think she's a virgin anyways, is she?
Nobody was really wanting to hit that, so I could see that she's a virgin.
She was saving herself for Snookums.
Yeah, she did say that. She said she was saving herself for her Snookums. But again, nobody else would want to touch that, so...
Ugh.
I bet her daddy thinks she's real pretty.
Yeah. The dragons are pretty awful to each other, or to everybody.
But they love Mildred because she's a girl.
Oh, I thought that was part of the shtick.
That's with the dragons. There's so few of them. They went, "Ooh, girl," and they're like, "Of course she's beautiful because she's a girl, and we need girls to make babies." And ew, and they're all obsessed with babies.
Oh yeah.
It's probably because they're becoming extinct or something, like the phoenixes.
Yeah, but
they're like pandas. They can't reproduce in the wild. You got to force them to do it.
Oh, they should have an older form of a panda. That would be so cute.
But at least, like, in this world, even if you go extinct, you can always come back. Because if the stars feel like it.
Apparently.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Or, mixed heritage. You have it in your blood. And just...
Yeah. You end up like Xavier with a Pegasus in a dragon family.
Or the Dante, who's a dragon in a wolf family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. So while Darius is getting married, Darcy and Orion wake up in a dungeon. Magicless and order suppressed. And Darcy has all these feelings of forgiveness towards Orion, and she almost says it, and then they take him away.
Of course.
I was like,
it has to be dramatic.
She did say, I love you, though, which to me implies the forgiveness.
She did.
Yes. Yeah.
And then, of course, they have their real, moment on the battlefield.
Of course.
Perfect place. But how does, so Lionel is supposed to be connected to the Imperial Star, correct? Some way, somehow. I mean, he's the ruling person.
Yeah, but...
So he should have something where he can, because Darius can feel it, the power in it.
He's touching it.
But how does he not know that Darcy has it on her? That's confusing to me.
It's right now it's disguised as a coin.
The journal is disguised as a coin.
Oh, the journal is disguised, but she's wearing the necklace.
It's a necklace.
She's wearing it, but how could he not feel it? Feel like something is there.
He has to put his hands on it. They have to have skin contact with the Imperial Star.
I don't think he's touched Darcy.
So, and that's the only reason why he doesn't know, is because he hasn't put his hands on Darcy. And she's very lucky for that. Because like you pointed out last time, you went into a battle, or sort of, with this thing on you, and you got captured, and isn't that kind of dangerous?
Yeah, that's, God, stupid.
Yeah, they do get taken to this arena where they're going to have to fight for their lives, and they finally do have the moment.
Oh, I hate to go back to this right now, but are we not going to talk about the fact that Gabriel tied up Mildred and put her into a trunk the way that Mad Eye was thrown into a trunk and impersonated? Are we not going to discuss that?
Sure, we can discuss that. I thought she was in a closet, though.
I thought they said a trunk.
It could be. I could just be remembering wrong.
A closet would at least be different, but...
Putting Mildred in the closet?
Oh, no. At least that would not be the trunk, but I just thought, I was like, how can they get any more clear about this?
Yeah, they do have so many Harry Potter references. It's not even funny.
Yeah. Anyways.
But Lionel gives them a chance to speak, and Darcy calls him out, and Orion bows to them as queens in front of the whole crowd.
Which is crazy. Crazy. But also...
Loved it.
I just love that man with everything in my soul. I just love him so much. I just love him. He's like such a hopeless romantic with Darcy, and I can't. I love him so much.
Yes.
Oh, he's the best. He was like, I didn't expect to be such a filthy royalist. It's like...
like, I would have hated myself a while ago.
Yeah. It's too late, buddy.
I'm head of the guild.
Yeah, literally.
I actually liked the romantic stuff with them in this scene. It was actually really cute and so sweet. Yeah.
I know, right?
Really
like, I was just really enjoying them.
And while that's going on, Gabriel, of course, tells Darius that they have to go to this cave, and they have to do it because if they don't, one of the Vega twins or both will die. And this is the only way to stop it. And of course, Darius is like, no, let me go save Tori. And Gabriel's like, no, this is the only way.
He's like, you don't understand. Get your ass in the cave.
I like the setting for this too. Like the jungle kind of setting. It felt very Indiana Jones.
Yes, that's what I was thinking the whole time. We had the thing with Caleb and Seth, and that felt very Indiana Jones. And then, just like you said, I totally agree.
Yeah, until I realized what it was for.
Right.
And then I was like, oh, no.
Yeah.
We also get confirmation that Darius is the son of the deceiver.
Of course. Of course.
But is Darius... as the son of the deceiver, is the deceiver Lionel? Or is it Octavius? Son can also mean ancestor of.
I
in
guess, yeah.
some type of way. Or could it be both? He's got lots of deceivers in his family.
I feel like it's both.
Yeah. Although, when was this prophecy? If it was done a long time ago, it would have to be Octavius that it was technically written about.
What do you mean by
Well, that whole for the son of the deceiver.
Well, I guess a prophecy doesn't matter when it's done because a
could
prophecy could be
reference
anything.
either?
Oh, because it would know. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Because they would know Lionel was going to be a deceiver anyways. Okay. Well, then I don't know.
I think it's both. I think they're both deceivers. All Acruxes are terrible.
Yes.
What did the
Except for Xavier.
And Darius.
Darius sometimes.
I was about to say,
Darius has his moments.
What did the prophecy say about the son of the deceiver?
Oh, I was going to write it down, but then...
Okay. The blood of the deceiver may change the course of destiny.
Right. The blood. And at the end, he's like, choose wisely. And I was like, ooh, ominous.
So wait, blood of the deceiver or blood of the son of the deceiver?
The blood of the deceiver.
Blood of the deceiver.
So does that mean Lionel's blood?
Well, I mean, Octavius Acrux, we don't know exactly what his relationship to Darius is, but he could be.
Oh, that's true. That's true. I keep forgetting about it in that terms that blood runs through Darius as well, so it would still be considered. Okay, I think I'm a little too literal.
Yeah.
He's an Acrux.
Mm-hmm. Would it work if Xavier did it, technically? He is an Acrux.
Don't know.
But he's not a dragon.
I feel like it wouldn't.
Yeah.
He doesn't. Yeah, if Xavier did it, he doesn't have the bonds to break because they're breaking the bonds on both Tori and Darius.
Yeah.
What were y'all thinking at this point in the story when they first go into this cave? What were y'all expecting?
I think I knew that he was going to have to sacrifice something, but I didn't really know what was going to come from it, and I didn't really know what he would be sacrificing. Like, when he gives his blood, when he's describing that they want an offering, or that he feels like he should give an offering, and he's like, I don't really think they're going to want my clothes. And I was like, well, what else are you going to give? I was like, what are you going to offer them? And then he was like, I guess I could offer my blood. And I was like, like, I don't know. I was like really not, I had no idea what to expect in this moment. I just knew that probably what would happen is he would offer something, make some kind of deal, and then save the others from what was currently happening. I did not expect the bonds to be broken from his agreement, because I feel almost like even though he ends up deciding to give his life, it seems like breaking all of those bonds is like a really generous offer. I don't know.
It just offered a chance of survival. It was the only way there was a chance of survival. They could have still died.
Yeah. That's true. I didn't think of it that way.
I thought he was dead. Once Gabriel sends him in by himself, I really felt like, I thought he was going to have to sacrifice himself right then to save them. So it wasn't quite as bad as what I was thinking. At least he's got a year. And if we have learned anything from Supernatural, is that a year is plenty of time to work around that.
Oh my gosh.
Look at all of the shit Sam and Dean get into in Supernatural. I mean, every season, one of them is signing their life away. And by the end of the season, guess what happens?
I mean, if they're able to do it, if Darius is able to get through it, I mean, there could be an option, I feel. I don't see him dying for good.
Even though the stars have dictated it?
Yeah, that sucks ass. Also, I really thought he wasn't going to offer his life. I thought it was going to be his power. Like, that would make more sense to me. But then if he lived forever without his power, like, that would suck ass.
I think Darius would be much more likely to give his life than his power. I don't think he could handle just giving his power.
Yeah.
He does get these visions of, like, the battle going on, and that kind of spurs it. But you also have to remember, he's making this deal on Christmas. So literally he has to die on Christmas.
Yeah.
They did talk about going to the mortal world, and if living in the mortal world, you eventually lose your power, and he
was like,
wasn't
no.
willing to do that.
I guess as Fae, it's like it's a definer of who they are.
I believe it also makes them go crazy. If I remember, it makes them get sick.
I think I remember
I
that
remember you saying something
vaguely.
about that.
All right, so Darcy and Orion's fight to the death begins, and it starts so well. They're killing nymphs left and right. Orion has his order, but no magic, and of course, Darcy has neither. But unfortunately, they kill one, and then more are sent in, and so they are overwhelmed. And we talked about this a little bit before we started recording, but all the allies show up. It becomes this big battle compared to the other fights that
So
we've
good.
seen. How does this one rank?
It's so fun to read. Like
Yeah.
Seth, when I read that 4 white paws like came down, I was like, what? What? I was like, Seth? I was like so confused.
With Geraldine.
I know.
Geraldine
shows up.
And her pointy nippled armor.
Madonna. That was exactly what I thought.
Yeah, me too. I was like, oh my God, the queen herself.
Oh God, her name?
Her name. Oh my God.
I know.
I'm not even going to try to
Did
pronounce
someone write it down?
How did she not get
all
killed just
G's.
having to take the time to announce her name?
I imagine her saying it as she's swinging, a weapon at the same time.
And I would like to point out in my whole about loving the fight and then yes, my queen. I actually meant that for Darcy.
Oh yay! Yay! I love that. I love that you're like, I actually don't hate her now.
And poor Tori is locked in the shadows, having to protect Lionel as he's hiding like a coward.
Literally.
Yeah.
Such a fucking baby.
And of course, these authors being these authors, we do have multiple points of views during this fight, and there's so many allies. We've got the heirs, we've got the freed so-called lesser fae that were captured. We got the Oscuro wolves, Gabriel's family, Geraldine's father and his allies, and then we get Max's point of view in the air. He's like throwing bad emotions at all the dragons and boosting
Which is great.
his own allies' emotions.
Very cool.
And he kicks Vard's ass.
Yes, that was such
Love
a
that.
good scene. He was going after him no
he's
matter
still
what.
alive.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, we know he's still alive, but I loved it.
Yeah, unfortunately, Vard needs to
Yeah,
die in the worst way.
I will say, okay, one thing did confuse me and I wanted to ask. Oh, okay, you answered it in the notes. There was a mention of a Nemean lion, and I was like, who the fuck is the Nemean lion? And you said it was one of Gabriel's husband-in-laws. Oh my God, I love that. I'm sorry. I just love that so much. Where did they come from? I don't know.
Yep,
Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe?
that's Leon.
Oh, that's
wait,
great.
Leon from Darkmoor.
Yeah, well, no, that's
Not the book series, but the place.
Rory, his brother.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, so Rory is in Darkmoor still, and Leon is married to Gabriel's wife. And you got Dante in the sky as well as a storm dragon, shooting lightning
Hell
everywhere.
Yeah, I loved when Dante showed up.
Yes.
That was fucking awesome.
Yes.
His intro into that.
Amazing.
I really wanted to read. I wanted them to have like a subchapter for Lionel because I wanted to know what he was thinking when he realized that Dante was fighting back.
Dude, he's cowering like a baby. And he's probably really angry about it too.
So next book, we do get some Lionel chapters.
Because
Yeah, great.
now I I don't want to hear his thoughts. I don't want to know.
Because fucking whining is what I need in my life right now.
Right? Like, it's enough already.
His chapters are not fun to read.
Oh, gosh. But everyone is there. Rosalie's there.
Yeah.
The whole crowd.
Seth is hurt, and Max and Darcy both go for him, but he ends up being saved by Orion, and he's like, that's my best friend! That's my future best friend!
There goes my future best friend!
I love Seth. I
am so glad he's in this book. He is
Same.
like the funny, like the comic relief, because at first I was like, oh my God, he's gonna die. And then he can't even be fucking serious, like during death scenes.
100%. Like the part where Orion is healing him and he's like, he loves me like a pack mate. But it's like the narrator does it so funny.
Orion's like, I'm only doing this because Darcy would hate me if you died.
Right?
There goes
my two favorite
future best
characters.
friend.
Oh my God.
Although I did worry about Caleb, like throughout this whole fight. But I mean, he didn't die, but this whole time, I kept thinking that Caleb was going to die.
I was worried about Caleb.
Yeah, he's fighting Tori right now, and he doesn't want to. And I think at one point, I can't tell because audiobook, but I think Lionel Dark coerces her into killing Caleb.
Oh, Lord.
And she's...
So I was going to ask, so could she, as long as it's not where she is hurting Lionel, could she let Caleb knock her out so that he could then get to Lionel?
They say it earlier, or at least Darius like ponders it. He's like, I can't even tell. We need to get Clara and Tori away from Lionel, and that means potentially trapping them somewhere. But I can't even tell her why she's being trapped because she won't let me because the bond won't let her.
Right.
So I don't think the bond would let her.
I think it's involuntary. Okay. I think that she would have, because she knows what they're doing, it wouldn't work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Damn it.
Poor Xavier also gets hurt here during the fight with Caleb and Tori.
Poor guy. He's just trying to help. He's always in the worst place.
He is. He still needs to find his power. He's not quite there yet.
Which they acknowledge, but still.
Going back to Darius, we do find out he has to sacrifice something. He's given a year to live, and all the bonds are broken if he accepts this deal.
Right. So you can see in my notes here where I was like, is the sapping of his power permanent? And then I was like, oh, he's going to sacrifice himself. Because like in my mind, I was going, oh, is it taking his power and that's an offering, But it was just part of the process.
Any thoughts on how this would play out? Do you think that they'll get around it, or will Darius die?
I cannot see Darius dying being permanent. I can't see any of them dying, to be honest with you. I can't see any of our main characters dying and not coming back, especially since Orion had his die and come back and then die and come back.
I think at least one of the main characters are going to die permanently. I think.
One?
At least one. I think Darius will die and come back. I think he is going to die at the end of the year, but something will happen to bring him back. But
die?
I don't know.
Don't say that.
I'm kind of thinking Caleb or Seth, probably Caleb.
I do not like that.
He's too fucking beautiful for this world, and I think he is...
He's too good for this world.
He's too good. I think he's going to die. I think he will be the catalyst for them winning in the end.
So you don't think that they'll circumvent this deal? That Darius is going to actually die?
I do. I think he'll die, but I think he will come back. I think something will happen to bring him back. So I don't think he's going to be dead forever.
I mean,
I think he has to die for it to work.
Diego died, and we're sort of seeing him. I did tell you. He shows up in the later book.
Does he? I forgot about that.
Though. Diego's like a miniature character.
y'all were theorizing that he died, so I was like, in the last book that I read,
Oh,
Diego
yeah.
was present.
Oh, yeah. And I was like, at the time, I was pissed about it. I was like, God damn it. He's alive. Oh, no.
But no, I think the stars are going to be tricky. I think that they're going to end up bringing Darius back, that it'll be in a way of, well, you had to die and be reborn in order for this to be permanent or something like that. But I think they are going to bring him back and the death will be temporary.
I think he does have to die. I don't know, but I think so. Well, they are Harry Potter fanfic writers, so somebody's going to have to die and come back. I don't think that was Orion dying, so it's going to have to be Darius, obviously.
It's going to be like Gandalf.
Yeah, right? Level up.
Level up.
All right. So let's talk about the fight with Clara, Lavinia, Orion, and Darcy. And Lily, you said you had a theory.
Oh, yeah. So as I was watching, okay, so at the end of this battle, Orion has to essentially kill Clara's body. And we talked about this a little bit before we started recording, but Clara kind of comes out. He knows now that Lavinia is not Clara. Clara is not Lavinia. They're two different people. But they're both stuck in that body. And so Clara is like, you have to kill me. And she thinks that's going to work. My immediate thought was, this is Voldemort. He's going to inhabit somebody else. And I think it's going to be Kylie. If she has to take somebody else's body, because Voldemort, he either had to have his body remade or he had to stick himself to somebody else. So she might have her body remade. I don't know. Maybe a faithful follower, Wormtail, will remake her body. But I think until then, she has to latch on to something, right, to stick here. And it's going to be Kylie. I don't know why. I guess because I hate Kylie, probably.
Lavinia as Clara managed to smoke make her dresses and stuff. Do you think that it's possible she might smoke make a body? Shadow make a body?
But then it wouldn't really be like a body, though. It would not be cool if she doesn't possess someone else or someone makes her a body, because it's cheating. Because why was she stuck to Clara if she could just survive on her own?
She was stuck in the shadows, banished there.
So should she need a body? Because Kylie is a Medusa, right? And those are lesser from Lionel's perspective. Yeah. However, there is a perfectly available female dragon.
Yeah.
For Lionel to take. Perhaps he could borrow Mildred.
So true. So true.
It would be.
I just thought that would be funny, though.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy, though.
Oh, wait. What's the other? Marguerite?
Marguerite, that would be a crazy one, too.
She wouldn't get Darius, but she'd get his daddy. Cindy Lou.
Oh, my God. I hate that.
I forget what order she is.
We cannot ruin her any further.
So, does Lavinia still call Lionel daddy after she separates from Clara?
Yeah.
The silence is deafening.
Oh, come on. No.
Oh, no.
Why?
Because she's crazy.
Jesus. Because she's crazy.
Is she crazy, or is she just lulling him into a sense of, like, she's still following
I don't know. She's been stuck in the shadow realm for 1,000 years at least. What do you think?
I think she's crazy.
But she wants to be queen. I think she is. Yeah, I think at some point we're going to be like, oh, poor Lionel. Like, when she turns on him. I think she's going to turn on him.
I don't know if I could
devour
ever think poor Lionel.
But in a good way.
She's going to eat him like the praying mantis eats her mate.
Oh, yeah. No. Poor Lionel in a good way. Like, we're going to enjoy it. But it's going to be like, whoa. Yeah. I think she's going to turn on him.
Maybe so.
So let's talk about the battle.
Okay.
She goes after Darcy and Orion, puts them in this cloud of shadows, and then plays with their head and ends up putting or starting to put a curse on Darcy.
I don't know how I forgot about this up until this moment. I am very concerned about this curse. Also, I am just so annoyed about it because I just feel like our characters up to this point have dealt with so much stupid bullshit. The bonds, the restrictions on their powers, like it's getting old. You know what I mean? Like I need them
Yes.
to actually have access to their full abilities for at least half of a book because it's getting so old.
I want to go back to the prophecy
Oh God.
where it says,
I know, right? It's so long.
where it
Yeah.
says, suffer the curse, the hunter will pay the price.
So he's going to sacrifice himself to save her?
I'm tired of these people.
I feel like, yeah.
But could it be talking about a different curse?
I don't know, because Lavinia kind of has like a moment where she's talking about their ancestor, and she's talking about, well, one, she says that they were sisters, and I was like, what do you mean by that? And then two, because she says not literal sisters, I think. So what does she mean? And then I think there was something mentioned in that about the curse, about a curse or something similar.
So in the
Can't
memory, Octavius, I feel like I'm saying his name wrong, but
No, you're not. You're saying it right.
he teams up with Lavinia and then says, I know a curse that I can use against the queens that they don't know of. And we don't know what happened to the phoenixes. They just died out for some reason.
Right.
See, I thought it went farther back. Like, I thought, like, being a nymph was some sort of curse in and of itself.
Oh, that'd be crazy if it was.
Like, maybe they were some other sort of order form with certain powers, and that curse turned it into the shadows.
That would explain why in my head they look like alien face stealers. They still look like that in my head. They're so disgusting.
It is interesting that the nymphs have a fae form and then they transform into another form just like the fae.
Yeah. I mean, well, like you said, it seems like from this memory, they were from the fae world. So, like, are they nymphs as a result of a curse? Or is that just a different fae form? Where is Diego? I need him to give me answers. Dare I say I miss the chica?
Really? Whoa.
No.
He's stuck in the hat. He's stuck in the hat.
I'm sure we'll hear it again. Listen, chicas. This is what happened. Let me tell you the story of my people.
Oh my God. All right. So do we think that this curse actually finished it and that she is cursed?
I don't know. It's confusing from the perspective of the reader. Like, did she finish cursing Darcy or not? Because she was interrupted multiple times, I feel. So I don't know.
Could be a misdirection.
Maybe. One of them.
I don't know,
maybe one of
though.
them is cursed.
Darcy feels the power from it.
But, like, how did she get the full force of it? Is she turning Darcy into a nymph? I didn't even consider that, Christy. That's what you wrote in your notes. I did not even consider that even in the slightest, but that would be crazy.
And that would be a bridge that would put them back together.
True.
Possibly.
And then she would be a nymph queen. That'd be wild, but I don't want that.
Especially if she could take away the curse.
Yeah.
And the hunter will pay the price. Maybe they don't get to get married.
I swear to
don't think that
God.
happens.
I swear to God, if Orion dies again just to break a stupid curse after Darius dies,
Okay, but
I
how
need them
funny would
to
it be
figure
when
shit
it says the hunter pays the price? What if we get down to it and it's like $5?
Yeah, I was about to say, what if he's like, all right, what's it gonna cost? I got a 20. 50? Going once, going twice. All right, fine. $100. That's all I'm gonna give you. And then what if Lavinia was like, all right, I'll do it. I'll take it off. You're right. My bad. You're so right.
Well, if you're theorizing that Lavinia hates the dragons for betraying her, how's she going to feel about the phoenixes who fought her in the first place?
It can't be good.
Or the enemy of my enemy.
That'd
Because
be
now
crazy.
the phoenixes and the dragons hate each other. So which side does she hate more?
But she's cool with Lionel, so I feel like she hates the phoenixes more.
But is she cool with Lionel, or is she just biding her time and doing the same thing to him that was done to her?
She wants to marry him. She wants to be queen. I don't know. It's confusing. Stop asking questions. I don't know.
Speaking of which, if she wants to marry Lionel, and Lionel is so obsessed with, like, go consummate the marriage.
Yeah.
Is she going to make him consummate the marriage?
A taste of his own medicine.
She could be like, I want a baby.
That's gross.
She would have to have a body for that, though. Yeah, but she would have to have a body for that, though, wouldn't she?
Exactly. She can't have a shadow body. Somebody has to create it.
Unless she turns him into a nymph, and then they can both be shadows.
That'd be crazy. Oh, Lionel would hate that.
He would. He is so obsessed with his dragon form. So in Azrael Orion's original note in his journal, he tells Orion that Orion is going to be the only one who can free Clara. He doesn't know how this is going to happen, but he's the only one. So do you think he actually freed her?
No.
By killing her?
Well, I don't know if there was a way to technically free her. I think this is the freest she is going to get.
Yeah.
She's free of Lavinia.
And now that Lavinia is free of the guardian bond, how do you think that's going to turn out?
We are in trouble. Because now she can do whatever the fuck she wants with no restriction.
Yep.
That backfired. It's funny because, so, Darius frees all of the bonds that are associated with him. But in doing, but he did not free Lionel's bond with Clara. But then Clara dies. So it's like, oh, okay. I thought that was going to stick, but it doesn't. It's just everything gets broken all at once.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And Tori feels the moment that the deal comes in, her mark disappears, and she's finally free. And she hesitates long enough that Caleb is able to give her the antidote.
Right.
And then he or she works fast enough before Lionel realizes that she's free to take his hand, which is the source of their power. You cannot perform magic without your hand. How do you think this is going to work out?
That is so funny, dude. That is so funny.
I mean, he does have another one, but he's diminished.
So would he still be in line to rule since now he is a lesser fae?
I was wondering that too. I was like, does that technically make him less powerful? Because he's all about power. Now he doesn't have any guardians and he doesn't have a hand. Sounds like he is no longer in the running.
He just needs somebody to challenge him. Sounds like.
All right, Darius. All right, Darcy, Tori, step up. Let's go.
Although I did have a new way that I would like Lionel to die.
Okay.
So when Xavier goes back to Caleb to fight Lionel, and somewhere in there, Xavier uses his pony rump, to slam Lionel's head into the wall over and over and just like slam it. And glitter dust just goes everywhere with each one because I would love for Lionel to die in a shower of glitter.
Oh my God. That would be great. Oh my God.
Oh man.
That would be
great.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
So at one point, Darius threatens to gut Vard.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure I want him to die that way, but I need Vard to die slowly and the most painful way possible.
I mean, he threatened to hang him from his entrails. I think that's pretty slow. Let him bleed out.
If he's still alive.
Yeah, I mean, he'd be alive.
Yeah.
He could flay him. That would be a good one.
Let him slowly burn
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
every
Peel the
piece
skin
of
off his
his
But I'm
body.
guessing that that's what happens. Oh, yeah. See? But yeah,
There's a lot of
Bart's pretty
options.
scared.
Yeah.
Which kind of gives away the fact that Darius is going to win. That
Right?
Darius will be there because if he is alive long enough to do that to him, and Bard saw it.
Love that.
That was before the deal was made. Blood of the Deceiver
Gosh.
changes fate.
Let us have this.
Yes. Yes.
Stop it.
And I hate to point out that he said that was only one possibility.
You're right. There were other possibilities, and we named them flaying, hanging him, skinning him.
Oh my gosh.
You're so right about that.
Right. So everybody ends up getting on Dante's back. Lionel runs away like a little bitch, and everybody gets on Dante's
does.
back, and they fly for their own kind of escape.
Which was great.
Any thoughts on what's going to happen next?
I guess I'm just like, I feel bittersweet about the ending because I feel like it was a great ending scene and I really enjoyed the battle. And I'm so glad the bonds are broken. And we just, like, a lot of potentially great things happened here at the end. Like, Orion and Darcy made up, but it came with a lot of sacrifices and steps back. So I'm excited to move on, but I'm also not excited because I really am just waiting for an actual win. You know what I mean? Like, we have had so many moments where it feels like we're winning, and then it's snatched right back from us. And I just really need a win.
The authors are not very good at giving wins. I'll just let you know that.
Yeah. They could have let Vard die. I think that would have been helpful.
So true. That would have been a great win. Like, we needed, and like, even Lionel having his hand taken, that's a good win. But like, it's taken away because a new big baddie is like now out in the open. And so, I don't know.
Yeah. And in that last chapter, for just one moment, I thought that they meant, because when Lance is telling her that the army is hers, or theirs, the twins, to command.
Yeah.
Right before that, it had mentioned the nymph armies were coming in.
Right.
And for just a moment, I thought he was telling her that the nymph armies were hers to command, hers and Tori's to command. And I was like, oh shit, did that thing give her command of...
That'd be crazy.
Yeah. So for just a minute, I got really excited. I was like, oh, you were in trouble. And then I realized it was not that. So.
I'm still feeling some type of way about the mirror in that memory, remember? And I am really wondering like you said, what the curse did to Darcy. I just feel like we're gonna see something like that, or something similar to being connected to the nymphs somehow. So I think you really called that right. Or I think you had the right idea to question that. I didn't even think about that, but I think you're on the right track. There's something going on with them.
Did either of you, when you were reading about, when it flashed back to Lavinia, to her story with that mirror, I kept waiting for it to be a trick. I kept waiting for it to trap her in the mirror or something. It just felt really odd. Like, you're going to schlep this mirror here just to say, like, a quick, we're on your side.
Don't trust the Acruxes.
I don't know. That's funny because I think in the moment I started questioning, is this, while we were in the flashback, I was like, is this real? Like, I even wrote in my notes, is this real or is this a prophecy? Is this what's going on? Because at some point I started to doubt what we were seeing. I was like, what? Which I don't normally do when we have a flashback. So I also had a weird feeling about that scene. I don't know. Whole thing is weird. So there's definitely information we don't have yet that I'm sure they'll reveal in some insane way.
What about with Darius? He's got a year to live now, so clearly he's not going to be king. Do you think this will change him? Do you think he'll even tell the others?
I wonder if he'll even tell Tori. He might not even tell Tori. I could see him keeping that from her, which is a big issue if you ask me. But that, yeah, I think he might keep that from everybody except maybe Orion.
Yeah, I think he's gonna. I
That's a good
feel like
question.
he is in this moment exactly like Dean from Supernatural. I think he's gonna keep it to himself because he won't want to burden like anybody. I can definitely see him.
Oh
as that.
my gosh.
So yeah, I don't think he's gonna tell anybody.
You're so right.
Watch, he's gonna tell someone in the first chapter of the next book.
Do you think he'll now support the girls for being queen, or will he just support the other heirs?
Damn, I hope he doesn't just support the other heirs. That'd be fucked. He just gave up his life to fucking save one of the women that should be queen. If he fucking supports the heirs in this,
I don't think he will.
What the fuck?
I don't think so.
That would be fucking nuts. I'm sorry. I don't know if I like Darius if that's the route he goes.
No. I don't think so. I do not think so because they just fought. Think about this. They just fought that whole fight under the banner of Tori and Darcy as their queen. So I can't imagine that they would not all support them as queens at this point because they are part of that army.
Yeah.
I hope you're right.
No.
That brings up a good point that this army is Tori and Darcy's and not the heirs.
Correct.
How do you think the heirs are going to take that?
I'm sure they'll be assholes about it.
Do you think they'll...
I'm sure.
Do you think they'll try to lead it?
Probably. No, I think they're going to try to be like commanders, but I don't think they're going to be like this. I think they're going to be like, this is our army and we're going to lead it, but then actually like help Tori and Darcy. You know what I mean? Like they'll be assholes about it, but they'll eventually fall in line is kind of what I'm thinking.
They don't get a choice. They had their chance to fix this shit before and they didn't, so they can suck it up and sit in the back.
What about their parents?
I'm sure they're not going to be happy.
Are they going to join? Or
Flocka came over here,
but do you think
and farted? And it is so smelly right now. This bitch.
Do you think that they'll join the queen's side, or do you think that they will stay on the side of Lionel? Not that they really wanted to be on the side of Lionel, but they could be double agents.
I would hope they would join the queen's side at this point. I would hope. Because their kids are on that side.
What about the Spares? They're still at school.
Other than Ellis, yes. I think they'll join the queen's side.
I think so too. I think they might, like the heirs, bitch about it for a minute and then join.
What do you think the next step in the war is going to be?
I think we're going to have a moment where we kind of assemble and figure out the next steps, right? Like as a group, the heirs, the twins, everyone who's on our side, who's fought for us. I think we're going to have a moment where we all come to an agreement on what the plan is or what our hopes for the future are. At least I hope that's what the next step is.
I think this is where Caleb's going to come into action because I think it's going to be like those wars you see where these small factions will fight against these large armies and win. So I think it's going to have to be a strategic plan. And I think Caleb is going to be one of those that's going to help decide that.
That sounds great. I think so too.
I would like to just again add, I can't remember if we did it before on the podcast, but that Lavinia was writing Lionel's back. Did want to make sure that was in there.
Yes, she was.
Very nice.
She's already making him her bitch.
Okay, sorry. We're free to end. I just wanted to add that.
He deserves. Okay, so that concludes our episode. We hope that everybody enjoyed the show. Next episode, we're going to be discussing book 7, Heartless Sky, chapters 1 through 9. So we'll see you next time.
Please remember to like, subscribe, and follow us on social media. That like and follow are super important for us to continue to bring you new episodes each week. So please, please, please do so. Thank you for listening to the Midnight Raiders podcast. We'll see you next week.
Happy reading, listeners. Don't stay up too late.